Welcome back to Grit and Gut Podcast, where toughness talks the grit, the grind, the gut, and the greatness, all things wrestling. I'm your co-host, Coach Craig VanDyke.
And I'm Mike Harbison, and today we are going to be talking about RAF 04 and the record.
Keckeisen! Keckeisen! What?
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I tell you what,
Bro.
Mike, people have been sleeping on Keckeisen. He is tough. And I know he didn't come from one of the superpower programs, but he wrestled Dake, and Dake, the score didn't show the whole thing. Dake beat him pretty good, but he was showing some Dake-esque defense in that match against Valencia.
Whoa.
Man. And I'll tell you what, I thought it would be a close and tough match.
Yeah.
I thought Valencia would still sneak away with it, but man, Keckeisen dominated that match.
Shut him down. Straight up made Valencia throw up. I was like, yeah. Gave me flashbacks of me at Northern Iowa folk style nationals the first time and just hurling in that trash can. But anyways, no, that was
man. He put a spread on him, and you talk about Valencia who didn't allow very many points, or was it no points?
I think it was no points, right? No points,
or very. I think he might have allowed 2, but whatever it was, man. He gave up a ton of points to Keckeisen, and Keckeisen was really just wrestling through those tough positions, not giving up, gutting it out, and he made it. Now, I think Valencia probably wasn't training as hard as he should have been for this, and maybe he slept on Keckeisen a bit, but boy, he is awesome. His defense, his toughness, his grittiness. He's actually really exciting to watch wrestle.
He is, and he's funky. I mean, you can tell he was. You tell why he was trained up by Ben, right? Like there's that one.
For sure.
There was that one where it looked like Zahid was going to get the takedown, and the next thing you know, like Keckeisen sits out, and then comes. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, that was good, dude. I was like, okay. So yeah.
Hey, and it was great to speaking of funky Ben Askren, man, it was good to see him on there looking better each day, it seems like. So it sounds like he's on the road to recovery, and man, it was really good to see him back.
Oh yeah, there. That was cool, man. I mean, because you gotta love Ben, man. You gotta love everything he's about, and how he, everything he does for the sport. So that's cool, man. And then what about, man, Mason Paris versus Wyatt Hendrickson, man? So
a rematch for those guys. Wyatt was the up and coming guy. It's an interesting thing where Gable Stevenson was like the man, and then all of a sudden, who's Wyatt Hendrickson? Like, we know he was good, but we didn't know he was great. And now he's just like proving over and over that, and I think he's getting better, by the way. I think he's not even at his peak yet, which is awesome for the United States. It's awesome for wrestling.
Well,
he's the most exciting heavyweight to watch
right now, for sure. And then I'm pretty sure Mason Paris was 3-0 against Wyatt going into this. I'm pretty sure. I am pretty sure Mason Paris.
You're pretty sure?
Yeah. Yes, it was. But yeah, we had to fact check it because Craig, my wrestling history buff, wasn't up on his wrestling history. Okay. No,
well, I guess I forgot that Paris kind of took a vacation to go try out for the NFL and wasn't in that series last year. But
and on top of that,
the last time he wrestled Wyatt, it wasn't this Wyatt.
No. Well, and I think a lot of times when people have wrestled Wyatt, it was not this Wyatt, right? Since Wyatt has moved to Oklahoma State, this dude's skill set, like we talked about, right? His skill set has gone astronomical. Like, he's so much better than he ever was anywhere else. Nothing against Air Force and all that. And, it's great and all of this stuff. But
he was a great wrestler.
Yeah. But, he's pinning everybody.
Just hitting the next level.
Right? But,
absolutely.
He's astronomically better at Oklahoma State in their RTC and everything he's doing with Dave Taylor and all the staff there. So that's, But, at first, it looked like it was going to be a pretty close match,
Yeah. I think he had a little. I'm still pissed off from the World Championships in him too. Yeah. And let me come get this, or let me keep this title belt.
Oh yeah, dude.
And that's I think he's hungry. I think he's very hungry, and just a little bit of trash talk between the two. I liked that. That was a good build up to it. Like, it wasn't it wasn't you know, at a level of demeaning
Oh
each
no,
other, but I think it was good to kind of
yeah.
some banter to hype up that match. And I think Mason was a little surprised at how that went in that match. But Mike, what do you think of these matchups between real wrestlers and guys who just did a little bit of wrestling for MMA
Well, I
or
know
just done jujitsu?
Ball. I'm a huge Bilal fan, but he is also my best friend's cousin. So I know, you know what I mean? So
were you rooting for him against the great David Carr?
no, I was not. But
do you hear that, cousin? Do you hear
yeah,
that?
but what I will say though is that listen, he did do a lot better than I thought he was going to do, right? Like
which part did he do better in that 10-0 tech fall than you thought, Mike?
I thought there was going to be a lot more because jujitsu guys tend to be the guys that just flop to their back, right? Like, oh, I'm getting taken down. I'll flop to my back. And it's like four, and it's like four more and it's over, right? At least Bilal did not just flop straight to his back and give up four every time. He was doing a decent job defending takedowns and stuff like that. So
Okay.
it wasn't horrible. And I thought it was pretty funny when he acted like he was going for the knee, right? And Carr's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I thought that was funny the way they both like kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're putting on a show. They know what the deal is in RAF.
And we all know.
I thought they did that.
Yeah, and we all know like those matches are just for funsies, right? Like nobody expects the MMA guy to win at all, you know, versus someone like Carr or something like that, you know?
So I think they should bring in some wrestlers like, you know, we saw Clay Guida on there.
Yeah.
Bring in Uriah Faber to wrestle some of these MMA guys. So maybe, you know, a guy that wasn't quite at the level that David Carr is.
Yeah.
And see how those matchups look. And, you know, maybe a guy that's a little past his prime.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit more interesting matchup. And that'll give the jiu-jitsu crowd, you know, a little bit more puffing up where they can say, hey, you know, jiu-jitsu is as tough as wrestling or whatever.
Well, I like,
you know, maybe we could match those levels a little bit.
Oh yeah. Better. Yeah. Like, yeah, maybe you know, yeah, I do like that idea. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, that would work out. And then, oh man, that Pat Downey match, man. And I'm a Pat Downey fan. I love it.
All right.
I love like just how he's come back and different things like that, right? So
sure. I like how he says yes to every single match. Like, dude. You want to wrestle Jake Varner, Olympic champion? Yep. Sure. You want to wrestle this other MMA dude? Yep. Sure. You want to wrestle another Olympic champion?
Yep. Yep. Like he doesn't, exactly. But he's always been that way, man. Even when they were dogging him, and I don't know what, you know, the personal life stuff that happened or whatever, but when he couldn't get a club to train at, and he's just running the streets in, what is it, Jersey or whatever, you know, looking like Rocky probably out there. You know what I mean? That's what I always envision when I, you know.
Isn't he a Baltimore kid? I think he's from Baltimore.
Oh, yeah. He's out there on the East Coast in the freezing cold. We don't know that.
Yeah, somewhere West Coast, East Coast. It's all over there. Yeah,
he's freezing.
He's
cold.
Not on the best coast.
He's freezing cold. He's running down the street, you know, and he's hating everybody. And he's probably so angry. That's probably why he's so angry, because he was so dang cold out there training, you know.
Was that him that was going around double legging all those snowmen out there?
Probably making all those kids mad. Yeah, but you know, and then he comes. But yeah, he comes to the Open that year, right, with nowhere to train, and he does good, right? So he's got so much talent, man. He's so good
for sure,
and he's.
So it was great to see Yoel Romero though, man, and he was one of the greats, by the way. This isn't just like some guy who wrestled and you know is an old guy now. Like Yoel Romero beat Cael Sanderson,
correct?
And they traded, but he's legit. And like we always talk about, man, those long arms of Yoel Romero.
Oh yeah,
that is such a factor in being a great wrestler. So sorry, short arm Mike over here. But but yeah, Romero showed he's still got it. I hope we see him a lot more. And man, he's a fun interview too. And he's just happy. Yeah. You can tell the joy of him being out there. I loved it.
Well, and you can tell that dude just straight up loves wrestling. And he was so thankful to get back out on that mat and compete to compete against somebody who's like good. You know, Pat Downey is not
Sure.
like a pushover for
Yeah.
nobody, man. When Pat
Right.
Downey is
For
on
sure.
and firing on all cylinders, that bro is tough. And so it was cool that, to see his post interview and just the mutual respect between the two of them. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That was cool.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Kennedy Blades got it done pretty easily. 3 beautiful double legs. I mean, those, I could just watch those all day. Just like a knife through butter, man.
So
It
clean,
was,
dude.
oh, love those. Love those reattacks. Love those snap go, man.
Oh,
She is so slick and smooth.
man.
And then the other match that was a little closer than I expected was Hidley Cardenas. Now that match ended up being what, like 5-3? It was
yes.
listen, I knew Cardenas was going to put up a battle. He's no chump.
No,
But Hidley is like, he's hitting his next level too.
bro.
And he got it done.
Yes, he did.
But yeah, very, very close.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, close-ish, 5-3, late takedown.
That was
so Hidley
competitive.
was still in control, but looked like a little bit of a size difference there too.
It did seem like there was some size difference there, but I'll tell you what, man, that was a really good match and a way better match than I thought it was going to be. So I'm excited because I feel like these RAF cards, they're getting better each time they put it on, So, we always talk about trajectory. That always ends up coming in our conversation. And man, the trajectory of RAF, man, I'm digging where they're going with it, and I'm liking how the content and the quality is continuing to get better, right? And, RAF, if you're listening, we like Vegas. Vegas is a great spot to have one. So Craig and I
can say next one's January 10th in Florida. Yeah, we got to get out. They got to get out to the West Coast, man, and they'll see that we support wrestling out here. Yeah, I mean, LA, San Diego, Vegas, all those would be good options out here on the West Coast. And, I think it's great that they're doing like one a month.
Yeah.
I think that's a good, way to go. Enough hype time, enough time for us to talk about it afterwards. I do think they're getting some great matchups. Some of the matchups end up being, they are what they are, just like on any card, But the matchups they're getting is really great. And, of course, they're bringing in these MMA and jiu-jitsu and, kind of really
having some fun with it.
Getting more fans, I hope. And obviously some respect for these wrestlers who are very good at what they do.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of wrestlers that are very good at what they do, Mr. Cael Sanderson and the Penn State Nittany Lions, brother, are doing some work.
Yeah, so Cael's got 77 straight dual meet victories in college wrestling. Boy, that is incredibly hard. I'm sitting over here on a little like league winning streak that's been going on 14 years. We're at like 72 straight league wins on my team. Hey, man, that's not Division I wrestling.
But still,
Cael is doing
let's
this.
Give a shout out, Coach Craig. Come on now. We'll call you Baby Cael.
There you go, Mirror
Baby
Mason
Cael.
Wrestling.
Baby Cael.
I'll take it. But man, 77 straight dual meet victories. Like, what was their last loss? Was that to Iowa? Like a lot of years ago.
Yeah, like I don't even. Yeah,
about five, almost 6 years ago. I think that last one was to Iowa in a close duel. But man, Cael, he's a master of everything. Dude. He's a master wrestler. Yep. He's a master coach. He's a master of getting the best kids in the nation to come to Penn State. And like, hey, one of the best kids in the nation, you're going to come here and you might be third string. Okay. Yeah. Like they're still going. Yeah. And he's got his magic, whatever that magic is, he's got.
Well, and I think, I think part of it too is just, and I think more and more people since Cael has come on board, but I think when he first started, he was kind of changing that dynamic, like the practice dynamic and the environment dynamic, right? And I think that's what attracted a lot of wrestlers to go there at first. And now it's just the whole environment, right? It's just like the mentality. And I'm sure when they go on their college visits and they step in that practice room and they're like, oh, wow. Like because when you're in environments of like pure champions, right? And all those guys on Penn State's team, I don't care if you're third string, you're a champion if you're on Penn State's team, right? Like you have that mindset, sure. You have that aura about you. And when you step in a room full of guys like that, you're going to level up. You're going to feel it. You're going to be like, oh, I need to be a part of that. So
I will tell you one thing I don't believe about Penn State. And I think so. I see this with Iowa where they allow a narrative to kind of take over and they just kind of go, yeah, that's us.
yeah.
And Iowa, has this rah, rah, rah. And they're not really all that way. I also don't think Penn State is just like this fun, loose practice all the time. Like they get down to business, they get serious.
Oh yeah.
They have tough
Bang it
practices and
out.
they push
Oh
each
yeah.
other hard. It's not like, they kind of allow this like, yeah, we just have fun
Like
and
this
goof around.
utopia, like you
They
come in there
don't.
and there's like all this music
Yeah.
playing and birds chirping around and stuff. You're like, oh, it's
Yeah, they're
practice.
feeding you grapes.
Yeah,
Beautiful women feeding you grapes.
spritzing you
And
because you're sweating too
no.
hard, right? Like, yeah, no, everybody's
Yeah.
high fiving each other,
Toweling
like,
you
yeah,
off.
no. Look, at the end of the day, it's
Yeah.
still wrestling, and Kale was a hard nosed
For
wrestler.
sure.
You know what I mean? Like he was
For
relentless.
sure. Oh, yeah.
And that's those guys too. I mean, you look at the way those guys wrestle; they are also relentless, always trying to score.
They're sneaky, relentless. Yeah, Nolf had a good match at RAF, not against a wrestler, but Nolf is just one of those guys he looks so slick that you don't realize actually how tough and kind of mean he is too, because he is also that
hard nosed, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know who else has been tough and gritty and hard nosed as all get out lately is Christian Carroll, boy. Christian.
Speaking of Penn State, ooh, big win over Penn State there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he has been on a little run, man, and he is really shaking it up. And both Mirasola brothers got beat when Penn State took on Wyoming, right? Connor at 197, and then how I'm having a total brain fart over his brother's name, Cole Mirasola, right? But anyways, Christian Carroll beat his brother, and both of them lost pretty substantially. So I don't know, but yeah, Christian Carroll, man, that dude, he is attacking, he's pushing pace, he is so relentless. Like he's doing 2 or 3 reshots, like just he's hammering you.
His re-attack duck to that. Yeah, he's so quick to turn the corner on his high crotch. He's throwing a little funk in there, passing the ankle, but I love what he does on the passing the ankle. He gets vertical right away. He doesn't stay there on his back. Of course, with the newer college rules, he can't do that. But man, he's popping right up. And he won that position like 2 or 3 times in the match against Penn State. And he had another big win over number 5 ranked Michigan wrestler earlier, right?
Yeah, he
and
did.
So he's hitting it. And Mike, what do you think about him fitting in at Wyoming? Because he was committed to it was at Iowa State.
It was Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State.
Wasn't it Oklahoma State, then Iowa State?
Oklahoma State, then Iowa State.
And then
So he went Cowboy Cyclone, he's back to Cowboy. So how's this cowboy hat fitting him, Mike?
I think he found his home. I think, because he is an Indiana kid, right? He was wrestler at Indiana, phenomenal wrestler at Indiana, multiple weights there, but really, really good. I think he won Super 32s, different things like that. And then he turns around and he goes to Oklahoma State first, which you would think and I imagine that's why part of why he chose it was he's an Indiana boy. Oklahoma State, he loves probably the outdoors, hunting, stuff like that, whatever, right? Oklahoma State's a good fit. Didn't quite work out for him, wasn't really feeling it. Ends up going to Iowa State. I think he was like maybe 5-5 at Iowa State, then got hurt and then was out and then ended up, but at Iowa State, he was wrestling 197. And so, and then he bounces back to 285 heavyweight, goes up to Wyoming, and which again, I think is a nice fit for him. Obviously it is a nice fit for him, but not just in the environment, it's coaching staff, right? Like, and that matters, especially, you young kids, when you're going on these college trips, right? One of the bigger things is it's not always the name, it's the coaching staff, right? Like, if you're in the right environment with the right coaches who can coach you, your level up is astronomical at that point.
Yeah, we talked about Keckeisen earlier. I mean, he was at UNI with Coach Schwab.
Yeah.
He was at the 3rd best school in the state. I mean, he wasn't even in the top 2 in the state, but right fit for him.
Perfect fit
and
for him.
National championship for him, and obviously beating a world champion. So he knows he's on that level now. So it's not. everyone doesn't have to go wrestle for Cale Sanderson to be a
Oh
champion.
no, yeah, no, and I think that's what a lot. I think that, and I think that's what a lot of guys coming out of high school now these last couple of years have started to realize, like, hey, maybe let's focus on the coaching environment as well as the school environment. So
Take all things into consideration.
exactly,
Absolutely.
exactly.
So the question is, will Penn State roll on with this dual streak? And when will it end, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, as a team, I think they are. There's not very many holes to get punched in there as a team, man.
Yeah,
and it's going to take.
They shut out Stanford, by the way.
Yeah.
Stanford didn't win a match against them, and Stanford's tough. Stanford
Correct.
is, they had some good dual meet wins, over North Dakota State, and they got a lot of ranked wrestlers there at Stanford, smart and good wrestlers.
Correct. Yeah. So I mean, so it's they're hard to beat in the overall, and their second string can fill in and win a lot of matches. Not even at the weight they're technically weighing at. You know what I'm saying? We've seen that already, right? Like bumping up 2 weight classes and dominating. So, I don't know. It's gonna take. I think there are a few teams obviously that are in the talks of potential, but I don't know if it happens this year or not. To be honest with you, what do you think?
It's not going to happen this year. No. It's we've referenced it before. Yeah. I mean, to me, it's boring. It's like we know who's going to win. Yeah. We know who's going to win nationals. Yeah. It's more exciting to talk about who's going to take second place.
Hey,
and that's still up in the air. Hold on. Is it Ohio State? Is it Iowa State?
Look, but dude, okay. Look at so Ohio State, and you said that, and I was like, wait a second. You know what I'd love to see? I would love to see Ohio State, Penn State, head-to-head, dual meet right now, because Ohio State, they're like swagger in the way they're carrying themselves, bro. And all their guys on that team.
You think it could happen right now?
Gosh darn, I wish that could happen real quick, because I love where Ohio State's at and their swagger and everything else. And Penn State's always had that swagger, right? And they're coming. And I just think that would be the matchup to, boy, oh boy, that'd be a matchup of all matchups right there right now. So I don't know. I think that one would be pretty close.
Sure. I think that would be good. I think a more interesting matchup, which we're going to see, is Ohio State versus Iowa State. I think we're going to see that.
Yep. Right. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah.
So that, that's going on Sunday. So we'll come back with a little recap of that. But yeah, I don't see Penn State losing.
No.
Mike, last question I got for you is, who will take second place at the NCAAs this year?
The NCAAs, that's going to be,
Iowa State, Oklahoma State, Ohio State, Nebraska, maybe, Iowa, maybe. But I mean,
right now I got to go with
somebody
Ohio
else
State.
I'm not thinking of.
Right now I'm going with Ohio State. Right now, I'd say just the way they're firing and watching their Latin man. I think it's Ohio State right now is a pretty solid second. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what there's still a lot of.
Who's third?
We've got 3 months of wrestling left, or 3 months of wrestling left. It'll be.
Who's third place then? Who's third place?
Third place, I think that's going to be close between. I think it's going to be. Oh gosh, that's tough, man.
Oklahoma State, Iowa State.
Nebraska shows up though at the NCAAs, and that's the hard part, right?
True.
Like Nebraska,
True.
And I think Oklahoma State under DT, right? Those guys are going to be so mentally ready for the NCAAs. Man,
yeah, you heard it here first. It's going to be a 4-way tie for second place.
Yeah,
Dr.
exactly,
Mike
right?
Harbison's calling it right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a toss-up between those 4 teams. You got Iowa, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and shoot, I just had a brain fart.
Well, you got Iowa State, you got Oklahoma State, you got Nebraska, you got Iowa.
Yeah.
And we know who's going to win, but Ohio State, I agree with you. I think they're going to
right
be
now,
second.
Ohio State's probably, I think, going to take second right now. But yeah.
Do we think that Iowa is top 5?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I think,
you think they're top
five?
5? Because so we're talking Penn State, we're talking Ohio State, then we're talking Iowa State or Oklahoma State. You still have Nebraska. So you're saying Iowa is in that top 5?
Man, okay, listen, mathlete. Come on now. Just let me talk, bro. Quit calling out numbers.
It's too early to be doing all these calculations, bro.
On the spot. I wasn't even ready for this question. This wasn't in the script. Dang, bro. You're going off script, going rogue, and now you're driving right over top of me now. Man, it's hard, man, because this is a wild season, right? Like, I think there's been so many shakeups in this season. I mean, heck, look at Wyoming is now 18th, right, as a team, right? Like, who was expecting that to happen, right? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. This has been a wild season. NCAAs are the hardest thing in the world to predict,
Yeah.
So
except for the winner, I think that one team wise,
I
think that one's boring,
pretty easy.
Yeah,
but for the rest of it, man,
wild things happen at the NCAAs, of course. Wild things.
That's why it's
always
the greatest, most interesting tournament to ever watch in the history of any sport. I don't care, hands down. I will fight you on that argument if you disagree with it, because it is the wildest. It's any man's opportunity at that point, because you're there, and any wrestling match is winnable or losable, right? And it doesn't matter if you're the number 1 guy and you're wrestling the last seeded guy in the first round. You could get beat, and it could happen, and you could get pinned, or you could get, you know what I mean? I mean, it's just, geez, and we could give hundreds of stories where that's happened, right? Over the watches of the NCAA. So,
that the hate we're going to get for who we forgot to mention is also NC State in the mix there. Yeah. NC State, I mean, they're ranked ahead of Nebraska right now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Now, okay. Okay. My for real last question, Mike. What do you think about the Flow rankings of putting Penn State? They dropped them, then they dropped them again to number 3. Are they just rage baiting? Do they need some views? Like, can we do that? We're ranking Grit and Guts ranking Penn State at number 4. Give us our views, bro.
Oh, they would take us off Instagram, YouTube, all of it if we did that, bro.
Your account has been banned for real, BS.
Right? Yeah, for hate speech or something. But they'd be like, "You're done, man." I get it though. They have their numbering system.
They have their system,
and they're trying to make it systematic. Which
yeah, and that's fair,
right?
I think it's very fair,
and I understand their argument. Like when they made their argument, I was like, okay, I understand that, right? And you know what? Hey, maybe that's good for Penn State. Give them a little chip on their shoulder, and make them come out and win their 77th duel. Then next thing you know, we're talking about how they won 85, and but whatever, So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it's fair that they have a systematic approach to it, and maybe at some point they have to look at that system. But I think it's pretty good. I think it's fair. Yeah. And even though we all go, yeah, we know Penn State's going to win, what they're putting out there right now and what they're doing right now, I think what Flo ranked them at is fair. Mm-hmm. I don't think it'll stay that way, but I don't think that you guys were rage baiting. I'm just kidding. But I think it was very fair.
No, yeah, I'm with you. I think the system and stuff that they have in place, that is what it is. And that's how they set up with the point system that Flo has created, which I appreciate. I like the way that they're making it systematic and that there's a process to it. And it's not just like, oh, we love Penn State. They're doing it, because they do it every year.
For sure.
So why not, right? So on that note.
And they have.
What?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say they have Minnesota outside the top 10, and Minnesota's freaking tough too.
Is tough, yeah. So like I said, NCAA is a wild tournament, man. So anything's possible at that tournament. So on that note, thanks for tuning in to Grit and Gut, where toughness talks, because on the mat or in life, toughness isn't given, it's earned.